Noah, since you are Yemeni, can you talk about the other genocide that people just don't want to acknowledge is going on? Because our very kind and gentle and much appreciated other ally in the Middle East, Saudi Arabia, seems to be committing their own genocide of the Yemeni people. And we just want to pretend like that's not happening. Your thoughts?
Yeah, it's over, isn't it?
Oh, it's over.
Hey, listen, I said it's over. And if I say it's over, that means it's totally over. Believe me.
Right. Yeah. And, also it's so interesting that like the agreement that was had that the Houthis, Ansar Allah, wouldn't attack the American boats, but said nothing about not attacking the US boats, the Israeli boats anymore. Do you remember when that happened? In the Strait of the Bab al-Mandeb Strait?
They were trying to block it. Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What can I say about that? I mean, it's a proxy war played on the soil of Yemen and doesn't have the same power, the same leverage as the other countries in the region, And when people say the Gulf, I think people don't realize that it means every country on the peninsula except for Yemen, because it doesn't touch the Gulf regions. And it's just not the same power player in the region, but that sort of screws all of its nationals, right? It's been colonized, and I don't even know what to say without getting really emotional about it. I get emotional about all these things.
I want to go to Yemen.
But at the time, I wrote a book recently and didn't want to bring it up because I just want to focus on Palestinian issues, but it expands towards Yemen stuff as well. When I was writing the book, I think it was like over 800,000 children had died of some form of malnutrition or starvation because of the war in Yemen. And that was an undercount at the time. So it's just been neglected, and the economic situation in terms of opportunities for people living there, and the war continues, and it's just tragic. I was there not in August, but 1 year ago, August, for a wedding of a friend of a friend. And like joy and life and all these things, they persist throughout. Like you can find moments of that in Gaza as well, but that doesn't mean that the horrors don't persist.
Tell her it's on my bucket list, and I'd love to go to Yemen, and that it's one of the oldest places on the planet. Like, it deserves the utmost respect, but more importantly, it's the only nation abiding by international law.
Would you like me to recite everything you just said?
I know you can.
While I can translate that. I could probably do it since I'm pretty good on the fly. So Jen wants you to know that Yemen is on her bucket list. It's one of the oldest and most proud cultures on the planet.
Socotra, island of Socotra.
Island of Socotra, in particular.
Been there. Yeah.
Oh my God, I want to go there.
You can imagine.
Before the UAE took it over. I was there in 2013.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but there's Dubai, Noah, and that's very important.
Ask her about the trees. Ask her about the trees.
I've spent a lot of time in the UAE, actually, in Abu Dhabi, because I have sort of like an adoptive family there, and now it's quite difficult to go these days because of the political situation.
I mean, I'm in commercial real estate, and I deal with all different types of people with, let's just say, ways and means. And when they talk about Dubai, it's like my brain immediately shuts off. I'm like, okay, if there is one thing I am very confident in saying, is that place only exists because of the filthy, rich colonizers that basically all decided that this is where we're all going to meet when we want to get together every once in a while. That's it. That's the only thing that I think of when I see that.
Well, you can't leave out the oil.
We're totally going there for the oil too. Don't forget about that. Yes.
Like BP oil in the 1970s that brought together the crucial states that were fine on their own, if you really want to get into it.
Jen, what were you saying?
Yeah, that they're the only country abiding by international law.
Yeah, the only country abiding by international law.
Is Yemen.
Is Yemen. Yemen is the only one. And one of the things that became crystal clear to me, and again, I want you to also be able to talk about what it's like from the European perspective, what it's like to be amongst the European culture in regard to how they feel about what's going on in Palestine, what is going on with how they feel about Israel as a whole, because we're stuck in a country that is the last bastion of hell that exists protecting the Zionist state.
Especially me.
Especially.
Well, I mean, there's Germany,
let's not talk about the Germans right now.
No, tell her I'm moving.
I don't
from
know if you're
Florida.
seeing literally every day the cops beating, I don't know, can you curse on this?
Of course you can.
Beating the shit out of protesters.
Of
Worse, I
That's
mean,
here.
I would never say worse than what happens to people by cops in the United States. I know better. But just beating protesters worse, I would say. Just going for them. Just yesterday, the day before, I mean, there was some German comrades on the boat who were amazing, really just almost in reaction to their own society, they were so good, you know? Actually, a German colleague is the one that filmed that drop site video for me because the German embassy were so much better than the American embassy and brought them a boat a phone when all of us had nothing in Amman. But yeah, she was amazing, Sophia. Yeah, they get the crap kicked out of them all the time by the German police when they protest. But in terms of Europe and just how Zionism is swallowed here, which I think was sort of your question. I tend to go on a tangent. I'll give you a perfect example. This week, what are we, Monday, technically Tuesday for me. Wednesday, there's meant to be an event for supporters of the IOF and wounded soldiers here in Paris and in Marseille, so south of France for people who don't know. And it had to be canceled because we made a bit of noise.
Good.
But that doesn't mean it's not going to happen. That doesn't mean it's not going to happen. That just means they're going to move it, right? So there's a huge contingent, particularly in Paris, of Zionist supporters here. That's not going to change. And the more noise, I would say they've always sort of been on the right of the spectrum in terms of politics, but they're moving farther right because the left has less and less patience for them. And I think that sort of is seen in parallel across Europe. But then, of course, the march right to authoritarianism across Europe that was being felt for many years now, if Zionism is also going there, then it's not necessarily losing support.
Well, I believe that Zionism is losing support rapidly in the United States because of the fact that it has officially pissed off the libertarian right. And once you piss off the people that are armed, that's not good. That usually is when change
Is
will
not
happen.
everybody in the US?
No, but they tell her that they
That's a bad joke
definitely pissed off the red.
When you no longer live in the US, everybody has a cheeseburger and a gun. And okay, never mind.
Well, I would definitely say in the United States, we're the most armed nation on the planet for sure.
I'm
But
unarmed.
one thing that is different in terms of how things are moving along in the States, there is definitely a split in MAGA. On one side, you have, I would say Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens are at the top. And they, along with Thomas Massey, and even though I don't trust her as far as I could throw her, Marjorie Taylor Greene, who clearly is thinking about her political future. She's very good. She's a good politician. They definitely represent the America First movement that is anti-Israel. Then you have the other movement, which I think is losing its strength every day. And the only thing that's holding it together is the Donald. He's the only thing that's holding it together because everyone hates Ben Shapiro. Everyone hates Mark Levin. Everyone hates all of these shitbag conservative Inc. podcasters that are getting paid $7,000 a pop, including Emily Austin, who I met personally in Philadelphia when RFK announced his campaign. Little did I know who the hell she was at the time, but I found out shortly thereafter, oh, this is her. This is his AIPAC handle. Like, that's exactly who this woman is.
Yeah.
And so we're at a point now where something's going to give in this country. I'm not sure what it's going to look like, but I am cautiously optimistic that we are heading in the right direction. I don't know if we can save the Palestinian people, but I know what we can do in this country. We can cut off the Zionist state. That's our goal.
Can I just have a little contention with a little bit of phrasing on the last thing of what you said? Because I don't disagree with you. I hesitate to say that save the Palestinian people because they don't need saving. We just need to end the genocide. I think they're perfectly capable of doing what they need to do to save themselves. We just need to stop people killing them. and maybe that's like a nitpicky thing to say, but I think words are
No, I
important.
agree. I
Which
would
is
agree
sort
with
of what the mission was, to break the siege. Like, if we could just stop arms sales, if we could do really basic things like have nations uphold their duties as written in the UN, as sort of not useful as that is these days, but just really basic things like open borders and stop bombs dropping on them, I think they'd be quite capable of saving themselves.
Can you tell
Sorry for that
her?
little point.
Tell her that I don't think our job is to save the Palestinians, that it's our job to end the Zionist state.
Our job is not to save the Palestinians. It is to end the Zionist state.
That's
Yes.
my
Okay. So this is we're making the same point. Yeah.
Yes. And there is nothing wrong with listen, as courageous as you are, you could tell me to do whatever the fuck you want. I am more than happy with you giving me my business.
Not my style. It's like a certain,
right, Peter. It's
in the same way, like I
our
don't like
job.
saying the word Middle East, like saving a group of people. I have a degree in indigenous journalism. Like, I would just get slapped on the wrist if I didn't call you out for that.
Did you see the thing I put up on the screen before, where I said that I am now going to refer to Europe as the Midwest and Middle West, and the United States as the Far West?
Okay, so now Europe is going to be regarded as the Middle West, and we are the Far West.
Correct.
For the foreseeable future. I hope
So Palestine is the center? Is that what I'm clocking?
Center.
Palestine is the center. Well, listen, at least you leave the Irish out of it, or the Scots.
But I've been saying West Asia, Peter, for a while. I've been trying to get you to say West Asia for a while.
Why don't we just read 1984, as everyone should read, and then they'll have a much better understanding of why we do the things that we do. Everything, and I mean everything, is in the name of money and power. The genocide of these people was brought about simply because they're in the way. They are expendable because there is $500 billion worth of natural gas under Gaza soil, and there is trillions worth of real estate redevelopment, of which Mr. Criminal Enterprise Kushner and Witkoff decided to say on national television just a week ago that
Whoopsies.
50 billion with a B.
Master plan. The master plan. 2 years in the making. Gee, what happened 2 years ago? Oh, this was a plan. So it was always a plan. This is the whole, but whether it's 9/11, October 7th, all this bullshit. But I want to stand on a positive note, because I do believe that the new president of Ireland is going to continue to provide a pathway forward for us to continue to build momentum to end the Zio state once and for all. One can hope.
The authority being very clear.
Yeah,
that
I mean, it would be
Hamas
nice to have
will
that
not
kind
be
of
part
leadership.
that new Palestine.
At what point did Israel achieve its military objectives? When 20,000 were dead, when 30,000 were dead? You made the comment. So at what point, in your opinion, was the military objective reached?
If I can come back there, my point was, if they were. It's horrific that it happened in the first instance.
I think we have to begin to question the military-industrial complex and its connections with everything. We have no choice but to do that. And I go back to what's happening in Gaza. We have lost count of how many people that are dead, men, women and children. We refer to them on the RT News. Dozens have died. This is the type of language we're using with a genocide unfolding before our eyes. And we have a duty to ask questions. Who's connected to what? Who's backing up this? How is this happening under our watch? And we can only do that if we take off the blinkers and recognise what's happening. And if we accept genocide as it's unfolding in Palestine, what are the consequences, not just for Palestine, but for humanity? Where do we go next? I come from Ireland, a history of colonisation, and I would be very wary of telling a sovereign people how to run their country. The Palestinians must decide in a democratic way who they want to lead their country.
But after what happened on October the 7th, you think Hamas can have a role?
What happened on October the 7th, I'm on record for condemning. But history did not start on October the 7th. Of
course not.
Well, it's important to point that out and to look back on the history and the many, many atrocities committed by the Israeli government through their army. And so I don't think Keir Starmer should have any say about Hamas. It's up to the Palestinian people. What Keir Starmer and other countries should be doing is stopping the genocide. absolutely calling out what it is, genocide, and using our voices to stop it.
I'm asking you this morning why you would say Hamas is part of the fabric of the Palestinian people.
I'll try.
Why is it always the whitest of white women that have to say this shit? I swear
I can't hear you when that, yeah.
Interesting. We'll play it. I'll play it up.
I can answer that for you as best I can. They were elected by the people the last time there was an election. Overwhelming support for them back in 2006 or 7. And they are part of the civil society of Palestine. We are reliant on them for figures in relation to the deaths.
Do you
that have
regard them
been
as a
back.
terrorist organisation?
They are prescribed as a terrorist organisation.
Do you accept that? Do you agree with that designation?
That's the designation. Israel is acting as a terrorist state. Both have to sit down at some stage. I mean, let's look at what Israel are doing and call it out for what it is. They're absolutely out of control.
And they need to be put down like rabid dog.
And they need to be put down like rabbit.
Okay, now I can't hear both of you. This is
Really? Let's try. Hold on. How about now?
No,
Nothing?
no.
Try refreshing your page.
What?
We hear you. Yeah.
Refresh your
Can't
page.
hear anything.
Yeah, she can't hear you telling her to do that.
Look in the chat. Look in the chat. Refresh your page. I'm going to try to
I'm gonna read your lips.
refresh.
Oh my God,
Okay,
you're so
refresh. Yeah, I got
crazy.
it. Okay.
Oh, there it is. Sign language of language. There you go. I didn't like the fact that she caved in any capacity. She had to sit there with that freaking bimbo being like, no, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you how it is.
I hear both of you.
Yay! So
Okay.
I just want to say, like, it is, to me, it's irritating when people I don't condemn Hamas. I never condemned Hamas. I never did in the first place. I
Jen,
don't think it's art. We don't get to tell oppressed people how to resist oppression.
But-
And so the fact that she even gave them that much was a little bit annoying to me. But I do agree with how she handled that in terms of she is a politician and she does need to talk to these people and she does represent other people besides just people who think just like us. So I understand it's definitely threading the needle there, but I appreciate how she handled that herself in those cases.
I just don't know what kind of neo-colonial hellscape we live in where we have to qualify that a certain people should be allowed to have their own representation. Like, why do we have to continue saying this, and particularly for the Palestinians? It's absurd.
Right. Well, why do we have to be condemning Hamas? First of all, why are we still discussing this like Israel has a right to do what it did when it had no right to do what it did? Like, we're still discussing this as to whether or not it is a genocide, but yet they're not discussing the main fact, which is Israel is the occupier in the first place. October 7th isn't the issue. The issue is that the Palestinian people are occupied and oppressed. That's the issue, right? So it's like they bury the lead every time. All they want to do is talk about Hamas. I'm
Jen,
so sick of hearing about it.
You're just being anti-Semitic.
No, I don't. You know what? I'm just anti-Zio. But I don't understand how you can. One man's terrorist is another man's freedom fighter, and I've been saying that long before October 7th. So you don't get to, and the fact how she handled with the designated as a terrorist organization, do you agree with it? Doesn't matter. They are like that is the truth, right? So I thought she was pretty good in how she handled that.